Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? Today I'm going to go over the basics of caricaturing. I'm just going to kind of give you the basic idea of the way I knew it. I used to work in a theme park as a caricaturist for 5 years, and that is, that doesn't make me better or worse than some other guys. It's just that I was around it a lot, and I think I had a good grasp on doing it. Um, if you don't know what caricaturing is the exaggeration of features. You know what I mean? The guys in the theme park or the parks that say, "Hey, let me draw you as a cartoon, guys. What's up?" You know what I mean? And you draw cartoon versions of, people. You're drawing cartoon portraits. And there was definitely a lot of cheating. There's ways to cheat that, you know what I mean? So let me go over just really quick what my understanding of it was, and I'll try to see how well I can teach you what I'm thinking, what I was thinking in my brain at the time. So there's general proportional rules or principles, right? A lot of them came from Michelangelo. So they kind of have that European standard of beauty and things like that, of what they thought the ideal human was. But those are kind of some of the rules that I follow today, too. There's just some ideal things. For example, the thing about splitting the head into thirds, the front of the face, to kind of get a general idea of a human, and then, customizing it to whatever person that is. One of them would be, like I said, I always say this, and if you want, go to my head demonstrations. I always talk about those proportions, But, like, let's say the top of the head, where the hairline's going to be, let's say there's no hairline. Let's say they're bald. It's just where the curvature of the head's starting to change, It's starting to change. You take that, the bottom of the chin, and then you split that into thirds. See, my thirds are kind of messed up. But thirds, and you'll find the brow line and the bottom of the nose. You know what I mean? That's a general rule, just to get in the ballpark. And then you kind of a lot of people don't fall into that. You know what I mean? Most people don't fall into that, I would say. Some people do. Some people don't. So that's a general principle. There's another one I remember, and I never talked about this one because I never used it. But the eyeball is shoved into the eye socket, right? I believe there's a general principle that says in between, the space between the eyes, it's about one eyeball thickness, and then to the side of the head, I think it's almost a thickness. It kind of cuts off there. 1/3. But there's rules for all. There's general principles for all that. So when you kind of internalize those principles, you don't really use them anymore. I never used this 5 eyeballs wide thing. I've never used it. What I did use it for is I did use it for caricaturing, because some people will come in there. Will come into, they'll sit down for you, and what'll happen is that person will pretty much, their eyes will be a little bit far apart, okay, or their nose will be a little bit higher than the thirds. So let's say their nose is a little bit higher than the thirds, right? If it's a little bit higher than the thirds, the point of caricaturing is to exaggerate whatever difference from the ideal. So if their nose is a little bit high, I'm going to draw, as a caricaturist, I'm going to draw their nose really high. You know what I mean? And then their mouth is going to be over here still. You know what I'm saying? I'm exaggerating. That's what exaggerating is. However they differentiate from that template, I'm going to push that. Some people don't have, some people are almost dead on template. Those people are the hardest people to draw. I'm not even kidding about that. You know what I mean? It's easier if someone looks different, Okay, so let's say, like I said, their eyes are a little bit too close, I'm going to push it really, really close. Let's say I'm going to push it, forgive me for, I'm just kind of, I'm not really drawing serious right now. I'm just kind of just showing you what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But let's say I would draw it super close. Think of like Gonzo or whoever has super close eyes. You know what I mean? And that's where kind of the style comes in, where different artists have different styles of how they do it. Some guys push it like crazy. I've seen guys draw like a single eyeball before. If someone's eyes are super close. Uh, yeah, Tasmanian devil eye kind of thing where he's got like one eye. He's got like one eye in the middle, that kind of thing. So that is generally the rule we went by. You know what I mean? Let's say their chin's a little bit longer, you give them a giant chin. And somehow, and if you want examples of this, and I'm going to show examples on the screen of friends of mine, of their artwork, and they do this very well. Some of the guys is their whole living, and you can see it's really beautiful actually. And, you know, that's where there's so much style in it. So that's my general. That's really what caricaturing is. You know, it's exaggeration. It really is. Um, Let me tell you. You know, there's a couple of different artists too that in the theme park, and I'm going to tell you this. This is kind of a caricature code, and you know, I'm. You might not care about this, but if you don't care about this, just stop the video. But I'll tell you a little bit about a code we had on when we were doing cartoons in the theme park, because there was kind of its own little subculture. There was guys that really exaggerated, that did this rule very carefully, and there was things called cuticatures. You know, meaning you just draw the same face with the same proportions over and over, just with like a different hairdo or something like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't really trying to customize to that person. You know what I mean? So there was this subculture between cute caricatures, like just to kind of please the customer, or you know, actual caricatures where they were really customized to them. Um, the biggest issue with that was that if you customize a caricature and you try your hardest to draw them the way they are, sometimes people will get upset. You know what I mean? They don't want their eyes pushed together. They don't want their nose drawn gigantic or tiny or something like that, because it's bringing out the inner their insecurities, because chances are they're insecure about it. You know what I mean? Whatever makes them unique, they might be insecure about it, which is really ironic, you know, because I think that's what makes people really attractive, whatever makes them unique. I love it. Um, so yeah, there was those two. There was this battle between the cutesy guys who'll please people, you know, like, oh, I'll just draw generic faces with different hairdos, like kind of Lego heads or Barbie faces, and then the guys who really wanted to do caricatures, you know, really true caricatures. So, anyways, that was a little bit on kind of the subculture and my experience there, and I had a great experience too. I'm gonna post a link to a couple of guys I know on YouTube. They got channels, and a couple of these guys are some of the coolest guys at caricaturing I have ever hung out with. So check out their channel. I'll link it below on the description. Anyways, that's about it. Just thought I'd talk to you about it. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks a lot, and I hope you learned something. See ya.